How is it possible that two people can start from the same place, have the same resources, and end up in such different places? How is it possible that two people can have the same level of income, same amount of financial resources, and live such vastly different lives? On one end, somebody lives a happy, joyous, expansive life and is really squeezing the juice out of life. And on the other hand, you have somebody who's constantly worried, constantly stuck, constantly stressed out, and can feel broke all the time. I'm here to tell you that the solution is not in some tips or tricks on how to budget. My name is Soho Fini. I'm a certified financial planner. I've been in financial services for over 10 years and have spent thousands of hours talking to clients about their relationship with money. I've helped hundreds of clients untangle their relationship with money and how to make great financial decisions along the way and frankly get the most out of their life. My cat will most likely make a lot of appearances in these videos, so get used to her. I want to introduce you today to a new framework on how to think about money and make great financial decisions. I call this the 5 layers of your relationship with money. I'm going to get to it in a minute. Before I do that, I want to take a minute and make it very clear that everything we talk about today is for entertainment, education, and to give you something to think about. None of this is tax, legal, or investment advice. Let's dive into it. The 5 layers of relationship with money are perception of money, generation of money, retention of money, expansion of money, and distribution of money. Let's start from perception. The perception of money is responsible for our energetic disposition on money, our attitude, and our overall energetic relationship with money. Most of us tend to ignore this. People can go years, if not decades, of earning income, making money, investing money without ever revisiting their relationship with money and understand how they come to believe the things that they believe around money. Now, it's important to recognize that your perception of money is a byproduct of 2 major things. Number 1 is your natural wiring. Are you naturally a risk taker? Are you naturally a lower risk person? But the other one has to do with external factors. This is the society you grew up in. These are the realities you observed around you when growing up. This is how your parents handled money. And it's so important to pay very close attention to this. How do I come to believe the things that I believe around money, around how to spend money, around how to invest and save money? When people say a book such as Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad changed their life, they're talking about an energetic shift. They're talking about the change in disposition and perspective. They're almost talking about the veil being lifted that has always been there and now it's going away and they can see things for the first time. If you find yourself use phrases like money is the root of all evil or hard-earned money and on and on and on and on, you might be, without knowing it, having a limiting way of thinking around money. Or if you find yourself having some success and you're frivolously spending money and you're buying brand on brand on brand, that might be another sign that you still have some money beliefs to work around. And our next video is actually going to be specifically around identifying poor and limiting money beliefs and how to address those. So make sure to check that one out as well. Number 2 is our generation of money. This is simply put what you do professionally. This could be your career, could be the business that you own. And in a capitalist society, it's entirely reasonable to ask the question of how do I make more money? Now, here's what I can tell you. As somebody who spent thousands of hours talking to people, successful people, I can tell you that the role of passion about something is a little overplayed when it comes to making money. Don't get me wrong. Passion can keep you in the game for a bit longer. It can help you remain persistent so that you potentially see results. But skills is really the thing to follow. Skills are what really, really pays. And if you get positive feedback about what you do, you know, you're solving problems for other people due to your skill, you naturally develop more passion about what you do professionally. So if you're thinking about a career change, if you're thinking about choosing a major, if you have children who are asking, what should I do? Start with this skill part. Start about what is your natural and innate ability that comes to you? What are the skill sets, the problem the world needs solving? And that happy place is where there's substantial financial opportunity in terms of generating income and also long-term fulfillment generally within a career. Number 3 is your retention of money. Retention of money essentially is, I had a good relationship with money, I started making money, how do I keep this money? this is a combination of good behavior and good strategy. The good behavior has to do with being mindful of what comes in and what goes out, and frankly, simply put, budgeting for the first time really comes to the mix here. But you also have the strategy piece, and I think it's very important for everybody to start thinking about their money team. When it comes to retention of money, your financial team is going to be extremely important. In my experience, the three non-negotiable pillars of your money team are your tax, legal, and your investment team. And they can help you immensely with coming up with good strategies. They can work hand in hand with good behavior and help you keep more of what you have earned. Now, let's shift our conversation to the expansion of money. This is where you have moved from keeping the money that you've made to now needing to deploy that capital, getting that money invested and participating in capitalist society, not just as a consumer, not just as an earner, but as an owner. There's a concept in Scott Galloway's Algebra of Wealth that he talks about moving from being a super earner to becoming a super owner, as you get to benefit from very different systems of taxation and different participation in the same capitalist system. So it's very important to now have an actual philosophy, have an actual strategy to become a successful long-term investor. It's very important to distinguish between gambling and having a long-term investment strategy. I also want to make it clear a few things you want to pay attention to. Number one, you have to develop your own personal investment philosophy, and you can do that with the help of your financial advisor. It's very important to know who you're taking advice from. It's very important for this person to be a fiduciary, and it's very important for this person to have a very clear sense of what's going on in your life and what you want to accomplish. What that means is that advice from a lot of family members, a lot of friends who might be successful, who might have successes in their own accounts, the advice they give you might not be that relevant to you because they might not have a clear understanding of what's happening in your life and what's relevant to you. They might also give you advice that's not specifically relevant to the time of your life that you're trying to build wealth. I also want to highlight one last item here when it comes to your expansion of money strategy. It's very, very important to differentiate between what's possible and what's probable. One of the most American concepts that we're accustomed to is what's possible. Possibility is as American as apple pie. And while possibility of an investing 10xing or 20xing or 50xing or 100xing is so exciting, more often than not, the probability of that is relatively low. So as you improve your relationship with money, as you develop your own investment philosophy, as you work with your advisor and money advisor, make sure that there's a clear distinction between possibility and probability for you. I always tell my clients that an investment strategy that you can stick with is more important than a very exciting strategy that you would abandon. A sexy strategy that gets abandoned is not nearly as good as a boring strategy that you can stick with. Morgan Housel, great writer, great thinker about money, says most people want above average returns for a below period of time, while where they would really find success is average returns for an above average period of time. So patience is a key non-negotiable piece of being a long-term successful investor. Reason being is compounding. The great wonder of investment world is a byproduct of time. You cannot replace that piece. Last but not least is distribution of money. This is where I go from owning the capital to changing that ownership to somebody else. Now, distribution is not just about spending money. That's part of it. That's part of it is I give money to somebody else for a good or a service I'm going to get in return, but it also has to do with change of ownership in terms of passing money from one generation to next, and also philanthropic activities. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but what I can tell you from thousands of hours of talking to people, from hundreds of successful and some unsuccessful examples, I can tell you that your life will feel immensely richer if you start to exercise generosity today. We like to think that generosity is exclusively a virtue of the living. Dead people don't get to be generous. So if you are thinking that, hey, once I'm gone, I'm gonna leave some money to charity, I'm gonna leave some money to my kids, I highly challenge you on that. I encourage you to start talking to your kids and the people you care about money today. I encourage you to throw that family trip if it makes sense for you, gather your friends, do the thing that you think you're gonna do later, right now. There are certain things certain moments in life that no amount of rate of return could give you those moments back. With that said, these are 5 layers of relationship with money: perception, generation, retention, expansion, and distribution. I hope you found this video to be helpful, gave you something to think about. I highly encourage you and invite you to like this channel, subscribe to this channel, like this video, send it to somebody if you think might find this insightful. My name is Soho Fini, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.